Alright guys, we're here playing some of the Rush duels. This is the new format. We got a really OP deck, Kappa. Actually, like, literally, oh, he got nothing, dude. He's got nothing. Unless, of course, he has a card where if we have a... oh. I mean, honestly, if he has the dragon, he has the dragon, right? We're going to go ahead and just start summoning a bunch of cards. This card's really good. I have to remember that there's no main phase 2. It messes me up all the dang time, but I'm going to go ahead and activate that. Actually, I mean... he would have, well, he has to activate it. I gotta just do it though, because I'd rather just get the extra draw so I can cycle 3 more cards here. And then we'll set this as a save. So we'll go ahead and just get some damage in over here. I'm not sure what he's playing. There's pretty much only spellcasters and dragons. Those are the 2 different archetypes. I think dragon... oh, they have some really, really good cards. The best Spellcaster card lets them boost their monster up by 1,000 attack. But pretty much it's kind of like it's a beatdown deck. That's the only real way to play. The Dragons and the Spellcasters have ways to OTK. The Spellcasters can have Mirror Force, but there is another card that counters Mirror Force. Okay, he might be playing a Spellcaster again. I'm not positive what everyone's playing, so he's going to go ahead and pop my back row. My back row is pay 1,000. I got to look at all my opponent's back row. What that lets me do is set up for OTK plays, and every single turn, everyone's going to use as many cards as they can possible, pretty much. The reason why is because you draw 5 cards. Well, you draw until you have 5 cards. So if you don't use your cards, then you just draw less, which at that point, just use every single one of your cards. That's the point of Rush duels, and it's super broken, but that's what we're here to do. So he's got this card that lets him send a card from his hand to the graveyard and then special summon a relatively strong monster. This is like one of his most powerful plays. Oh, if he just activates this and attacks, we're totally fine. So he becomes 2,600 attack, and then that's it. I thought he was going to activate that effect. Oh, okay, that's totally fine because he's going to go ahead and attack over this card because this card actually is good. And then this card will still run over his monster because it goes back, because it only lasts until the end of this turn. And it'll be 1,600. So we're going to draw 5 more cards. Super OP, man. Let's go. All right. So we have a lot better cards this time. And now we can go ahead and attack him twice, or we can summon a more powerful monster, so it's more difficult for him to deal with the matchup here. I'm going to go ahead and set this, and I can get out both of the monsters anyways, but I get more damage by summoning this card right now, and so we're going to go ahead and actually do that. I got to remember to set everything like all the time because I always think about main phase 2, but this game doesn't have main phase 2 because it's Rush duels. We're going to go ahead and activate this, so we're going to send the top card of our deck to the graveyard, and now we're going to be able to attack twice. As long as we just defeat a monster by battle, we get to attack again. Spellcasters do have Mirror Force. That's the like only like OP card, and it requires you to have 4 Spellcasters in your graveyard to activate. So we're going to get massive amounts of damage passed to him. He's going to go ahead and eventually summon. As soon as he normal summons a monster or specials, I get to just get out Blue Eyes. And Blue Eyes will also get that bonus of 200. So I think this game's in the bag over here for the most part. But like I said, I run a lot of weird cards. I mean, everyone's running weird cards. So it's okay. So this card's effect is you can send this face-up card you control to the graveyard, and the effect is to one face-up monster, level 4 lower spellcaster you control can attack directly this turn. Okay, I don't care if he tries to attack directly this turn. So he's going to go ahead and tribute for that card over there. I mean, at the end of the day, I can just activate it because it's just like, why not? Because at any point he could just stop summoning, then I just have an extra Blue Eyes in my hand that I'm not using. I'd rather summon it off of this. So shuffle 3 spellcasters, then draw 1 card. Is his effect. And so he's going to summon this card over here. So this card is terrible. You pay 600 life points to make it so one face-up monster opponent controls loses 600 defense. If it was attack and defense, it'd actually be a good card. He's going to go ahead and summon his like boss monster, which is 7 Roads Magician, which makes it so he gains 300 attack for each different attribute in your graveyard. But since he used the other card that like was a little pot of avarice, he lost out on some of it. So he can go ahead and attack this card if he wants to, which is crashing. But we've got this card that we can maybe make use of, but I don't think he's going to be able to come back from that unless he's trying to get 4 spellcasters. That's like the only important thing. We've actually been playing for a little bit longer. I go ahead and get him down with Mr. Lizard. Let's get him down with the Lizard Soldiers. There's no battle fader that I'm aware of, so I'm just gonna go ahead. We're gonna go make a game. Normally, yeah, you would summon all of your stuff. You want to summon every single thing over here. Since that guy just got bodied, we'll give him game 2. We'll just title this one game 1 and request rematch. Oh, he was done. Okay, there's a lot of people doing rush duels, so we'll go ahead and just play him again. Hopefully he'll accept over here. Most people, surprisingly, are doing rush duels versus regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, you know, it's new. Everyone wants to go ahead and show off the new content. I'll also briefly give you guys a brief little attack profile here. Does he really not want to duel? Like, okay, well, let's go ahead and see if anyone else in the EU is doing rush duels. So, where's rush? Okay, there we go. There we go. So we'll hop right in and go right again. All right, so we opened up pretty good. Are we going first or second? Okay. So the goal is really just to get out like your strongest monster, or get out as many monsters as you can turn 1. It doesn't, like, going first isn't like OP in this, because like, yeah, you can set your traps turn 1. I mean, I would say like, I ideally like to go first, because you have a little bit more options. But for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. So we'll go ahead and, again, you just want to get out like your biggest monsters like ASAP. So we'll go ahead and summon this and go and pass. And it seems weird just to be like, someone use all my cards, but again, otherwise they're dead cards in your hand. Yeah, you could technically use them the following turn, but I'm not gonna just pass turn. So he's gonna go ahead and he's got Fire Golem. It doesn't do anything. A lot of the monsters, by the way, that are like vanillas, they don't matter. Like the stats might be really bad on them, but it literally doesn't matter at all. So he's gonna go ahead and send the top card, and he's gonna go ahead and be 3,000 attack, which is quite great. But it's only until the end of the turn, and then he'll get over probably this card over here, and then we'll be able to reduce his stats over here, and just gotta always check and make sure he doesn't have like the max amount. Okay, so this card's actually really good. A lot of the requirements are basically cost to send a card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you get some type of a bonus effect. I don't know what his face downs are over here, and I'm always checking for specifically the Spellcaster count. Other than that, there's not really anything that you should really worry about too much in this game. But this card has a pretty good effect. So I get to add a 5 or higher by discarding one, and of course it's going to be this card. And then we can go ahead and summon like another monster here. This card we want to keep, so we'll go ahead and normal summon by tributing these two, and we'll go ahead and activate this card's effect over here, and that will let us potentially attack twice. And as always, I always recommend you guys to use, most of the time, just use every single card in your hand. The only thing that would be like huge to run into is literally the Mirror Force, which he can't even use right now anyways. So we want to go ahead and attack with this card. I've actually gotten so much better at this after practicing and after failing a lot, because the requirement is something that you have to make sure you activate. You can't just go attack and then, oh, I destroyed, okay, I want to activate the effect. No, you have to activate it immediately in main phase 1. There is no main phase 2, and it's been messing me up a lot of times. But yeah, this card is excellent. I'd say this Gravity Press Dragon is pretty strong, just because you put your opponent in a situation where you have like a strong monster, and then you have this card. And the thing is, they always get rid of this card because they need to. There's another card that reduces your attack by like 500, but this is a pretty tough board to break. I'm trying to get like the meta game. So the Spellcaster deck, it has a lot of resources that are all about having cards in the graveyard. The best thing that he can do is boost it up. I mean, he might be able to go for the combo, make him monster that has 2,000 attack, boosting it up, and then go for the 7 Rhodes Magician. Oh, this is the card that boosts it up, where he's able to increase this card's attack. And then he needs the other card to boost another thing up by 1,000 to really deal with this board, because most of the monsters are pretty weak here. But he might be trying to get into those Spellcasters for specifically the ability to, that he needs to get rid of this card. Wait, what? No, what? Oh yeah, he's just trying to get that amount in. Unless he's just pranking himself. Okay, yeah, he is. Okay. I was like, come on. I can't. Oh, see, when I activate the Seal of the Ancients, you'll see that he has that card where he needs to have 4 spellcasters. Yeah, there it is. He's got 2 of them. So this is the card. When your opponent monster declares an attack, shuffle 4 monsters, spellcasters, and you destroy all of the attack-based monsters your opponent controls. So we can go ahead and move this to defense over here. I can still activate this card's effect. Again, I want to go ahead and draw as many cards as possible. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and select this card over here. And then we can keep this card alive by just attacking with this, because this would normally be game. So he's not going to allow that to go through. This card, I guess I can activate it. You know what, we can do this. This is not, I don't really want to lose out on this card though, since I already know what he has. Yeah, we could do this. We could do this. I mean, I could try to like make him use the cards, but I can make him use 2 of them right now, and then I can still summon that card the following turn. So we can go and activate this card's effect, and he only has 1 card in his hand, so we can start popping these cards. I actually should have checked the log of which one was which. It was, one of them was like a dead card though, right? So I can attack and he would use that card, but he still gets to draw a bunch of cards next turn. This card might not survive the next turn anyways. And so I've got rid of 1, and now I'm getting rid of his 2nd Mirror Force. So he'll activate Mirror Force, we'll lose out on our attack with his monster, which is just this 1 card. And then, like I said, I always forget about main phase 2, but in this instance, it's not that bad. Because we still have this card over here. We still have Lesser Dragon. There's a few burn cards that I really don't even think are that bad. So he's going to go ahead and send 1 draw. And this is actually a really good card for his archetype because it lets him start filling up his graveyards with the spellcasters. So he's going to go ahead and tribute, and we can go ahead and just go for this card. The reason why, again, is just because I want as many monsters out as possible. Honestly, I could take the life point damage. Sometimes, literally, he'll summon something with like 1100. And if he just attacks over this, this is another free monster for our tribute fodder later down the line. And we already got rid of both of his mirror forces. And he might have another one. A lot of people are playing 3 copies of it. And we already know that card is dead card. So at this point, it's a game over with our boy, the BlueEyes-White-Dragon. So go ahead and summon it. This is a legend card. Now, I'll explain what a legend card is later. But you can only have 1 copy of the legend cards. This card can make a 2nd attack this turn. 1,000 attack. I know it sounds bad, but there are times in this game where just the smallest amount of attack can make me. I'm just going to do it because I can. And what's funny is Blue Eyes doesn't even have an effect. And we already know what the card was. And that was a really good example here because he tried to play around the... he tried to play with the Mirror Force effect over there. But here's my brief little deck profile. I mean, the stuff is really mediocre right now. There's basically dragons, or you can play spellcasters. There's also a card that can counter the Mirror Force card, but you have to set it up, which is the Reward of Tyranny. When 2 or more face-up normal monsters you control are destroyed by opponent's card effect at the same time, you get to special summon up to 2 monsters from your graveyard. This is an insane effect, but the thing is, it requires you to specifically play against spellcasters. Right now, I would say there's probably more spellcaster players than dragon players. I originally thought spellcasters were OP, but then I started reading some of the ways that you can beat your opponent, and you guys like how I was like, I know he's got this, I'm gonna activate Seal of the Ancients, but this deck can OTK quite easy, and especially if you have Seal of the Ancients, you definitely know if they're bluffing or if they don't have it or not. But if they have it, you could just play this card instead, set it in a turn in advance. But the thing is with this game, everyone just uses all of their cards ASAP because it's just the way that the game is oriented. So I was originally trying to set up and I'd be like, okay, I'll set Reward of Tyranny and then I'll go ahead and make my plays the next turn without worrying about anything. The thing is that they'll always pop this card, so I just go for this just to be safe, but you guys saw how I basically played around it. I moved my card to defense mode, and we were A-okay. But here's what I'm running. I mean, honestly, most of the stuff is pretty bad, but I got my Blue Eyes, a ton of vanillas here. I literally picked the monsters that had the most attack. I tried to prioritize Dragon if possible, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes, I'm not even kidding, when you play against spellcasters, yo, my boy Lizard Soldier runs over almost all of them. There's so many spellcasters that are 1,000, and my boy Lizard Soldier is just 100 higher. So he's like MVP of the deck. Plus, for no reason, he's a dragon instead of reptile. Then we got the extra more vanillas. Then we've got Rush Dragon Dragiers. This is one of the best cards in the game. Even Spellcasters usually max on this. This is like one of the best cards in the game. Also need to mention legend cards. There's only one as of right now. That's Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is considered a legend card because he just literally has 3k attack and it's just tribute 2 for it. And it gets over most of the stuff in the entire game. And then we have the Dragonic Slayer over here. I actually really like this card at 1. Been bodying with it. You guys saw how we used it in that duel. I actually wouldn't mind playing more copies of him. And the reason why is because I've been trying to like OTK with Seal of the Ancients, but it really requires you to have this. So I'm actually thinking 3 Dragonic Slayers would be totally okay in these rush duels as well. And then we've got Gravity Press Dragon. You guys saw like the key turn 1 play, instead of like, if you can throw out 2 boss monsters, that's still a viable option. Like two monsters with literally just more attack. That's all you need. But with Gravity Press, it's a tribute 1, and they're forced to get rid of it. Otherwise, it gets over most of the things in the game because there's not very many things that are like summon 2000 attack easy. So you basically get to run over whatever like monster that they have that might even be like a boss monster of their deck. The Spellcasters can get like 2200 pretty easy. But yeah. Then the Twin Edge Dragon, I mean, it can attack twice. It's just another dragon though, because we need it for some of the other cards. This card's really good. Phoenix Dragon. It lets you just add back one of your stronger monsters, and it can give you a recyclability for Dragonic Slayer. But I honestly would like to play, I'd rather just throw in 2 more Dragonic Slayers and then throw in like 5 more vanillas. And I know it sounds dumb, but like you really need to play a lot of vanillas because there's lots of times where you just really need to tribute monsters. Then with Seal of the Ancients over here, you guys already saw what it did. It will let me basically Dragonic Slayer pop. I mean, if they have 2 Mirror Forces, they'll end up sending both. I mean, there's no requirement of discarding a card or sending a card. A lot of the cards in this game, they'll always discard 1 or send 1 card from your hand to the grave to get an effect. And then, yeah, so I like this and I like this. This is like my setup here. Then 3 copies of Fire Dragon's Heat Flash. This just pops 1 spell trap my opponent controls as long as I control a dragon monster. The Spellcasters have the exact same thing, but you control a Spellcaster. This is like the only form of destruction in the game. I'm playing 1 copy of Mountain. Does it help out against the Spellcasters? Yeah, so we literally just play 1. I don't think you need more than 1. Just a heads up, this game does support double field spells, so you can have 2 people both have Mountain up on the board. It doesn't really matter too much because if they're playing Mountain, they probably have dragons. This card is really good. When my opponent's special or normals one, it lets me keep 1 card in my hand and then just special summon it like a card. If I just don't happen to have the tribute fodder, this card is amazing. It's like never really dead at that point, right? Because you can instantly just be, oh, you summon 1 monster. Okay, I get out a legendary Blue Eyes. It's balance, Kappa, and it gives you extra utility to go ahead and add that card back with your Phoenix Dragon and a Dragon Encounter. And then we have counter offensive Dragon Strike. So it makes this is why I've been liking dragons over Spellcasters. When your opponent, when a dragon monster is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster, you get to send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and destroy a card your opponent controls. So that lets you basically, if you have a dead card, you're able to get rid of that card, so you can still draw 5. And if they don't get rid of your card, you still have that board, so you're going to be able to, you know, pop off the next turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This is like a really good card too. I was side decking because I was actually like building the deck. I wasn't actually side decking this, but it's because I was working on Spellcasters because that's what I originally played. And then I'm like, okay, this card's Mirror Force. Everyone's gonna play it. And I've seen even dragon players play it in because there's not enough like just dragons, so people just throw in like Spellcasters just because the attack of like some of the monsters is like 1500 is really good. So I've seen dragon players try to use it, but it requires, oh no, the Mirror Force card. Yeah, like I said, it requires you to shuffle 4 Spellcasters. I've seen people do it in Dragons, but for the most part, I'm not going to play it in my build because it's just, there's not enough Spellcasters. But anyways, that is the Rush duel gameplay as well as the deck profile. Basically how almost every matchup plays exactly like I showed you guys. The dragons are just going to rush down. The Spellcasters are going to try to gain extra attack, but they do have that Mirror Force. That's like the only card that's OP. And it's not like you can't play around it. Just activate this, man. You go for those OTKs. But anyways, thanks for tuning, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you guys are new here, make sure you guys subscribe. Turn on that bell so you don't miss out on more Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay as well as deck profiles. And let me know, guys, what you think of Rush Duels now that you guys have seen some gameplay. And if you guys want to send me replays of Rush Duels or actually anything from EDO, because that's what we're playing on right now, feel free to send it to AzneyesReplays@gmail.com. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one, and we're out. Peace.